The signal is loud. The LLM Leaderboard for 2026 claims to rank the best AI models across 3 core dimensions, but does this headline actually change how builders, companies, or users behave in the real market? We often mistake attention for impact, so the first question we must answer is whether this data shifts decision-making or just generates noise. This discovery signal originated in US Google News results, but the real story often starts in builder communities before hitting mainstream headlines. We see activity spiking on Reddit and GitHub, suggesting a grassroots interest that precedes corporate announcements. A useful signal must survive comparison across these independent channels to be trusted. The raw detail states the leaderboard tracks models across 3 core dimensions, though specific metrics remain unverified in current reports. We must treat this as a starting point rather than a final conclusion. A strong briefing separates the initial signal from hard proof, asking what would have to be true for this trend to actually matter for your workflow. For the US audience, value only appears when a story connects to capability, cost, distribution, regulation, or trust. If a headline touches none of these layers, it is likely noise. The strongest AI topics usually connect multiple layers simultaneously, meaning a narrow headline can hide a much broader market shift. Let us look at the source facts. The discovery source is US Google News with a normalized trend score of 0.84. The wider source mix shows Reddit at 28%, GitHub at 24%, and Hacker News at 15%. These numbers do not prove the story yet, but they explain why this topic earned a deeper look before interpretation. Then we must look at cost. Better AI does not automatically become useful AI if the product runs at a price customers cannot justify during daily operations. Cost is where many exciting products meet reality because every extra second of inference has to be paid for by someone in the budget. Distribution is the next critical layer. A powerful feature hidden inside a niche tool can stay small forever. A similar feature attached to a platform with millions of users can reshape behavior much faster. That is why distribution can turn a modest feature into a major market event, especially when users do not need to change habits. Trust is where many AI products slow down significantly. Enterprises need permissions, logs, rollback capabilities, compliance, and clear ownership before adoption. The winning product is not just impressive, it must be safe enough to adopt. In serious markets, trust is an operating requirement that decides whether a pilot leaves the testing stage. When builders react, pay close attention to what they are building around the news. Are they forking repositories, testing APIs, writing tutorials, or simply reposting the same claim? Builder behavior is valuable because developers tend to reveal friction quickly when a claim does not survive hands-on use. When researchers react, look for independent replication. A paper or model claim becomes stronger when other teams can reproduce parts of the result, challenge assumptions, or find practical limits. Research behavior matters because replication, criticism, and careful benchmarking can turn a fleeting claim into a durable reference point. When enterprise buyers react, watch for specific workflow language. The useful question is not whether AI is exciting, but which department can save time, reduce errors, or create new revenue. Enterprise behavior matters because budgets follow operational pain, not just curiosity about the newest model release. When consumers react, watch the interface closely. AI adoption often grows when the feature appears at the exact moment of need inside a search box, phone, or daily work tool. Consumer behavior matters because the winning interface often feels obvious after it arrives, even if the underlying technology is complex. When investors react, separate durable economics from pure excitement. Funding can accelerate a trend, but it can also hide weak unit economics until the market asks for proof. Investor behavior matters because capital can create momentum, but it cannot permanently replace customers, margins, and retention. Infrastructure decides the ceiling for any AI idea. Compute, memory bandwidth, power contracts, data center capacity, and inference cost all shape whether a promising concept can scale. Infrastructure behavior matters because AI is physical now. Power, cooling, chips, and networks shape what software can promise. Open models create significant price pressure on the market. They do not erase frontier labs, but they give developers and companies more negotiating power when good enough intelligence can be hosted elsewhere. Open model pressure matters because it gives the market alternatives, forcing every provider to justify its premium. Closed models still hold distinct advantages in capability, safety tooling, support, and enterprise contracts. The question is whether that advantage remains worth the premium for your specific use case. Closed model advantage matters because trust, support, and frontier capability can still matter more than raw openness in some critical workflows. Agent stories need extra discipline to be credible. A flashy autonomous demo can hide brittle execution that fails under pressure. Real agents need task boundaries, memory controls, tool permissions, and a way to fail without causing damage. Agent reliability matters because a product acting on behalf of the user must be judged by consequences, not screenshots. Data can become the real moat as models become more accessible. The advantage shifts toward companies that own clean workflows, proprietary context, and trusted integration points. Data advantage matters because the same model can produce different value when connected to unique, clean, trusted context. Regulation is not just a legal footnote, it changes product design. Audit trails, privacy handling, human review, and safety explanations can become part of the product itself. Regulatory design matters because compliance can become a product advantage when buyers need confidence before deployment. Map the competition by stack position. Some companies own chips, some own models, some own workflow software, and others own distribution. The strongest players may combine several layers. Stack position matters because the company capturing user attention may not be the same one capturing the profit pool. The main risk is overreading the signal. A single viral discussion or benchmark does not prove a market shift. It only tells us where to investigate next with primary evidence. Risk control matters because a high-velocity narrative can make weak evidence look stronger than it really is. The opportunity is speed. If this signal is real, early builders can test use cases before the market narrative hardens. That is where small teams can sometimes move faster than incumbents. Speed matters because early teams can learn quickly, but speed only compounds if the learning is honest. The next evidence should be concrete. Look for official documentation, reproducible tests, customer deployments, pricing details, usage numbers, or technical write-ups that reduce uncertainty. Concrete evidence matters because serious viewers need a way to update their beliefs without chasing every viral post. In the short term, watch developer adoption, API usage, GitHub activity, product integrations, and whether respected builders keep discussing the topic after the first wave of attention fades. Short-term tracking matters because momentum can fade fast if builders stop finding practical reasons to keep experimenting. In the long term, watch costs, reliability, regulation, and distribution. If those pieces improve together, the story can move from an interesting headline to durable AI infrastructure. Long-term tracking matters because durable AI shifts usually survive multiple news cycles and keep improving under cost pressure. Do not turn every AI headline into a prediction. The better habit is to build a decision frame. What changed, who benefits, what evidence is missing, and what would make us change our mind. Decision frames matter because they protect us from both blind hype and lazy dismissal. The practical takeaway is this. Treat the LLM Leaderboard 2026 as a signal worth tracking but not as proof by itself. The value comes from the structure around the signal. Structure matters because the same headline can mean very different things depending on source quality, timing, and adoption path. For builders, the action is to test quickly and honestly, try the tool, compare alternatives, measure costs, and document failure cases. This approach ensures you are not just following a trend, but validating if it fits your specific technical constraints before committing resources. For executives, the focus must be on integration costs and regulatory compliance. Ask how this model fits into existing workflows without creating new security liabilities. The decision frame requires balancing innovation speed against the stability required for enterprise operations. For researchers, the priority is independent verification of the three core dimensions mentioned in the leaderboard. Without reproducible results, the ranking remains a hypothesis rather than a fact. The scientific method demands we challenge every claim before accepting it as truth. For consumers, the question is whether the interface feels intuitive and solves a real problem. If the AI requires complex setup or offers no clear benefit over existing tools, adoption will stall. The user experience must be seamless for the technology to become invisible. So, does the LLM leaderboard signal represent a real market shift or just optimized attention? The answer depends on whether we see sustained developer activity and verified cost improvements over the next quarter. Until then, treat this as a signal to investigate, not a verdict to follow blindly. The final decision frame is simple: track the data, verify the claims, and wait for the market to prove the value. This approach protects your resources while keeping you informed of genuine shifts in the AI landscape. The best strategy is always patience backed by evidence.